and welcome back to Mariana Books. My name is Mariana, and today we are here with a fun little tag that is called Soggy Expat. What's it called? The Soggy Expat Book Maniac random question tag, which was created by Heather at Soggy Expat Book Nerd and Sean at Sean the Book Maniac. Well, that was a mouthful. And I originally saw this tag, or I first saw this tag in Susan at Roadread's channel. And you know how I haven't been in the mood to film like very eloquent book videos, and I really love this tag because it's just random questions and they're fun and they're short, and I think this may be a short video from me. We will see, because I never do short videos, but maybe this will be the one. Here it goes. First question is soggy. Cold soggy fries, yay or nay? So this is funny because I do like some soggy things. For example, cereal. My mom is one of those persons who, if she pours the milk and the cereal, she has to eat it quickly because she doesn't like when the cereal starts getting soggy. She likes it crunchy. I love soggy cereal in milk, but I do not like soggy fries. So cold soggy fries, yay or nay? Nay. Then number 2 is expat. Have you ever lived abroad? If not, would you? I have lived abroad, so you may know I'm from Mexico and I live in Mexico, but I have lived in Brookline, Massachusetts, which is right next to Boston. So kind of like, I always say I lived in Boston because it's easier that way, but technically it was Brooklyn, which for me is kind of like a borough of Boston, but people who are from there are very adamant that Brooklyn is a separate city from Boston, and I'm like, it's the same thing, it's just a different borough. So I lived there. My dad was in his sabbatical year when I was 7 or 8 years old, and so we lived for 1 year there in Brooklyn, Boston, Massachusetts. And then again in her next sabbatical year, which was years later, and I was 17, so 10 years later, and again we lived in Brooklyn, Boston, Massachusetts. So I lived there and I really loved that time, and I really love going there. I have gone to visit, and if I start talking about my time there, this is not going to be a short video, but the answer is yes. Question number 3, book. A trip you took and or would like to take because a book or author made you want to see it in person. So I have no answer for this. I was trying to think and said, is there a trip I would like to take based on a book? And I would love to take a trip to Middle Earth, and I would like to take a trip to Hogwarts. So those are the main ones, but I can't travel to Middle Earth or to Hogwarts. So to answer something that I can do, but it doesn't come from a book. So I've always wanted to go to Ireland and Scotland, both of those, because they are very magical places. To me, they seem very magical places, and I'm sure there are fairies around, and I want to go to Ireland and Scotland to see fairies. So that has been in my bucket list since forever. And I started watching the show Outlander a few years ago, and I was like, that cemented my wish to go to Scotland. And then after I saw the show, I read the books for Outlander, which the show is 1,000 times better, period. I'm not going to go into it, but the show is much better than the books. But when I read the books, again, Scotland. So it's not that because of the book I want to go to Scotland. I've always wanted to go, but after watching the show and reading the books, I'm like, yes, Scotland. I always say that I don't want to die without a picture next to Ladybrook. So yeah, I know the name is not Ladybrook, but that's how I know it. A book or author from Canada and or Wales you'd like to read. So I recently read a poetry collection called Side Effects May Include Strangers that I loved. I think it's one of my favorite books to this date, and I forgot it during the mid-year freakout. Never mind. I mean, favorite books from this year. So that the author for that one is Canadian, and in his author's note, he mentions other poets from Canada that also write about disability. And there is one specific book that I want to read that is from a Canadian poet that I cannot find anywhere except on Amazon Canada. And did I find it in Amazon Canada? I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't find it. Maybe I just found it in like a Canadian university website. I can't find it. I can't find it to order it to Mexico. So I really want to read that one. I really do want to read that one, but I can't find it to order it to Mexico. I can't remember at the moment the name of the book of the author, but I'm going to insert a screen with the title and the cover and the author, so you know which one it is. 5. Random. Embarrassing parent story time. A time you're still record. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Embarrassing parent storyline. A time your parent or guardian embarrassed you to your core and you're still recovering, or a time you were that parent. My dad is very shy and very reserved, so whenever there are friends or people around, he just goes to his room and he doesn't come out. He's a hermit that way, so he doesn't really have any contact with my friends whatsoever. One time, my boyfriend at the time, I don't have a boyfriend at the moment, but when I was in university, he was here and he was telling me how much he was scared of my dad. And I was saying, oh, don't worry, he's more scared of you than you are of him. So, so with my dad, no embarrassing moments because he never mixes with my friends. My mom is a very social person, but she's not really an embarrassing mom because she's very open and she's very, like, we can talk about literally anything, and my friends love her. And yeah, so I don't know if, like, now as an when I was a teenager, no, but now as an adult, if I have a birthday party and my friends are coming, I would totally invite my mom to be there, because my parties are not like ooh party. My parties are like, come over for dinner and have a good conversation. Like, those are my types of parties. And my mom loves to sit down and talk with my friends, and she doesn't share embarrassing stories or anything. She also really likes to read and watch shows and movies, so we just end up talking about movies and shows, or like, she's very into the political current events, so she'll know what's going on in the world, so she always has a good conversation. So my dad doesn't talk and my mom has good conversation, so I don't have embarrassing stories from them, not that I can remember. I don't have kids and I don't plan on having kids, but I do have a younger sister who is 11 years younger than me. And so I don't think I have ever, like, really truly embarrassed her. I will just share one anecdote where it was more embarrassing for me. But it was kind of like the moment where I was like, oh, okay, you don't turn into an embarrassing parent. I mean, older sibling. She was like 7 at the time, I think, and she was building a fort, like a pillow fort, with one of her friends in my house, and they did the most amazing fort. Like, really, so cool, so cool. And so I wanted to take a picture because it was so cool. And so I come down with my little phone, and my sister just looks at me and she goes, "Do not take a picture." And yeah, so it's not really embarrassing. It was the moment where I was like, oh, whoa, okay, I have the potential of becoming an embarrassing parent or older sibling. So yeah, that's the moment I would share. Then 6, maniac. One or two other things you are maniac about aside from obviously being a book maniac. And at the moment, I'm a maniac for tarot. You all know this. If we're going for something that could be a bit bookish, but I don't know if that would be spoiling, but I'm a maniac about Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings. I was doing a body read once with Elle from Elle Things, and I just kept bringing up Tolkien in every conversation, and we weren't even reading anything Tolkien related. And she was like, okay, you could totally win a prize for most likely to bring up Tolkien in conversation without being prompted. And that's me. So that I'm a total maniac for, but that's bookish. So non-bookish, um, I would say if it's lifelong, stationary, but if it's at the moment and I have a feeling that it will be lifelong, tarot. See, I don't know how to answer these questions in a short way. I was like, I'm going to just do this in a short video. I'm sorry. 7, random. Have you ever been hideously lost, literally or figuratively? Yes. I was trying to think about, but I am so bad at um, spatial awareness. Like, I don't know if I'm walking down the street and I turn around and then you're like, let's go back, I will turn around the other way and you'll be like, Mariana, we just came from there. You literally don't remember that we came from there, and I literally don't. My spatial awareness is zero, zero spatial awareness. And so I am really bad with directions and knowing how to get places. I get lost even with GPS. That's how bad I am. And I have a friend who is the same way. And we went to university together and we always did projects together. We studied graphic design, so we always have to go like do printing and production kind of stuff. So we were doing a packaging project and we needed to buy some supplies, and we found a store that carried those supplies, and we kept doing the wrong turns and we didn't like, we ended up in a different branch of that store that is in a really far, really dodgy part of where I live. We were scared to go down from the car, like, and we literally ended up in a different, what's the name, like you know the stores that have different like a different location of the same store. We were aiming for one that was close to us, and somehow with the GPS we ended up in another one. But we are so bad at directions that we didn't even realize that we weren't going towards the one that we were supposed to be going to. And that's like within my own city, mind you. Like, it's not even a story of I got lost in a foreign city. I got lost in my own city. Then 8, random. A memorable encounter with a stranger. I'm like my dad. I don't speak to strangers. I'm a hermit. I speak to my friends and to my family. And if I'm taking a class, I will speak to the people sitting next to me. I despise the coffee break in conferences because I do not like talking to people, which maybe is why I have a channel, so I talk to people in the internet from afar, so I don't have to have actual human interaction. So I don't have an answer to this question. 9, random. What did you want to be when you grew up? If you have now achieved that in real life, what's it like to be fantastically stable as an adult? Asking for a friend. I love this question, but I am like, I'm one of those people who goes to the same restaurant and orders the same thing always, forever and ever and the rest of eternity. And so I'm routine, structure. I don't like deviating from the plan. I'm that type of person. And so I don't know if that's the case or that's the reason why, but when I was little, like from first grade up until like junior year, or a little less, no, from when, okay, I get confused because we have a different school system here, but from first grade up until like seventh grade, I wanted to be a writer. And then when from seventh grade up until all high school, I wanted to be a graphic designer. And I went to university for graphic design, and I graduated for graphic design. And at first I was a graphic designer, and then after my first brain surgery, where my life changed completely, I started blogging, like blogging my experience with the surgery and life and the things I've learned. And so I started speaking and writing, and now I still write every week. So now I'm kind of like a writer. So when I was a kid, I thought I would be a novelist, and I would write fiction, and I would write a novel. I write nonfiction. I write a weekly article. So it's not the same, but it's still writing. I'm not by any means a stable adult or have my life super together, but I am very structured. So I guess that's the answer to the question. And then finally, 10, random. Are you a people watcher? Do you have a good peripheral hearing? Share an anecdote or three. Yes, I do. And that's something that actually is from my dad as well. I think because we're both hermits, we just like listen from afar. So my dad has excellent peripheral hearing. Like if we go to a restaurant, we will be having a conversation, and he will be like, "Oh my God, can you believe it?" And you think it's from the conversation you're having. I like, what did I say? And he's, no, the the guy from the table over. Can you believe that his sister is betraying him in that way? I don't know, I'm making it up, but he's just paying attention to every single conversation in every table around you, and he will be like, if I go out with my mom, I will hear something, and I'll be like, oh my God, like, did you hear? And she'll be like, what? And it's so boring. It's like, you didn't, how did you not hear the good gossip? But if I go out with my dad and we just like walk by somewhere, we'll both be like, oh my God, did you hear? Yes, oh my God. So I don't remember a specific anecdote because we just do it all the time. But yes, I have excellent peripheral hearing. Or not so much anymore, because after my first brain surgery, I can't hear with my right ear. So if you're standing to my right, I can't hear you, and you have to stand to my left so I can. So I don't have so good peripheral hearing now, but I have peripheral attention. I pay attention. And yeah. So that was the Soggy Expat. Wait a second. Soggy Expat Book Maniac random question tag. It was super fun to film. I encourage you to film it. I'm not tagging anyone because I don't tag anyone in my tags, but I encourage you to do it, and I will see you in the next video that will probably be either tarot or another random question tag that I saw in another channel, but that's a story for the next video. You will probably see me with the same shirt because I'm filming it right after this one. So yes. But yeah, I will see you on the next video soonish, and in the meantime I wish you happy reading.